It is shocking how wrong I was about this game. Shocking! If you've been on the fence about Ghostwire Tokyo, you need to hear what I have to say. And if you have little kids in the house, I have info about what to expect so you can decide if it's safe for your family. Let's get into it. I remember when they announced Ghostwire Tokyo at E3 in 2019. Of course, at the time, we didn't realize that E3 itself would be a ghost before we got to fight the ones in this game. But as more info and gameplay footage came out, I personally became less and less interested in this Bethesda game. I'm usually not really a fan of the horror genre, and I just thought it was another game full of jump scares and demonic forces that would be more dark and twisted than I cared to subject myself to. But with its recent move to Xbox, I decided to give it a chance. And to be completely honest, I really misinterpreted what this game is about. Don't get me wrong, as the title suggests, you do have to fight a horde of ghostly demons, but this isn't a horror game. It's more like a fantasy game. Except instead of being set in some medieval land full of dragons, it's set in modern-day Tokyo, neon lights included. If I were to compare it to something, Skyrim comes to mind, but it has a lot of differences, and not just in its setting. This is in first person, but there are no guns or grenades. Instead, you are endowed with an upgradable set of elemental powers, so wind, water, and fire. There are some light RPG elements here, but the skill tree is nowhere near as deep as something like Skyrim. It is technically an open world game and has a good selection of side quests to track throughout, but again, it's nowhere near as big as Skyrim or The Witcher 3, for example. It's much more confined than that, much more manageable. In fact, this game is much shorter. I'd say it can be completed by most people in 12 to 15 hours if you mostly stick to the main mission, but it could be a 50-hour game if you wanted to see it all. The story is nice and contained. It's told through some random dialogue as you travel from place to place, and also through some short cutscenes. It's about a brother who is on a mission to save his sister when a mysterious fog causes the rest of Tokyo's residents to vanish into thin air. And Akito is not going to let any ghost army keep him from getting to her. Graphically, Ghostwire Tokyo looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to blow anyone's mind, but it's a decent looking game. I think the rain effects look nice, and there are a lot of reflections in puddles on the ground and whatnot. I did end up playing this in performance mode to get that frame rate up to 60, but there are several different modes to choose from. The only thing I didn't like was when you move, it seems weirdly smooth, almost like you're a camera on a gimbal, or you're being transported by a conveyor belt. You just kind of glide. There's not much bounce in your step, but that's not a game breaker, just an observation. I usually like to talk about the music in games, but I strangely don't even remember it, and I think that says something. It says that it fits the mood and tone of the game so well that I didn't notice it was there. So it's not distracting, it supports the environment, but it's also not memorable. And if you played a track from the game for me right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you where it was from. Parents, this game is rated T for teen, and that shocked me because when this was announced, I immediately wrote it off as an M for mature rated game. So this is really good news because that opens it up to being enjoyed by a larger number of people. Its teen rating is due to violence and language. The language is much more sparse throughout the game than a lot of modern games, and there are no F-bombs or GDs heard here. It's more mild than that. There is a car accident scene at the beginning of the game, and I only bring that up in case you or your family might be sensitive to that because of your history. The combat violence in the game isn't bloody or gory, and it's against a faceless army of ghosts. So in a way, you're not even killing anyone because they're ghosts. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that Akito's love for his sister is sincere, and despite their family tragedies, which are revealed throughout the game, he keeps fighting for her no matter what. Of course, you're fighting ghosts and specters, and so there are definitely images and animations here that could spook younger kids, but I think a teen rating is perfectly appropriate. And that's Ghostwire Tokyo. Have you played the game already? Go ahead and haunt the comment section below and let me know what you think. I'd give Ghostwire Tokyo a solid, or maybe spirited, 8 out of 10. If you have any interest in handheld emulators, make sure you subscribe because I'm dropping a review on this little guy that plays thousands of games this Friday night, and I don't want you to miss it. Oh, and here's a dad joke for you. On what kind of streets do ghosts love to trick or treat? Dead ends. Stay kind and encouraging out there, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip.